Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise and get straight to the insights you need. If you've been creating any kind of media lately, well, you know AI isn't just part of the workflow anymore. It feels like it's practically sitting beside us sometimes, offering suggestions, even taking on tasks. The speed of AI in media editing is just it's really transforming how we make stuff. And one of the really notable innovations popping up is Descript's Underlord. So our deep dive today is all about this intriguing new AI co-editor. We're going to unpack what Underlord is, what it actually does, and maybe most importantly, how it could fundamentally change how you create content, whether you're a seasoned pro or maybe just getting your feet wet. Our sources, they really highlight how this tool mixes natural language prompts like plain English with these super integrated editing workflows so you can manage complex tasks with surprisingly simple instructions. Okay, let's get into it. Let's unpack this.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here, I think, is how this fits into that bigger picture, that trend of making sophisticated tools, well, way more accessible. Historically, high-quality media needed special skills, expensive software. Underlords, though, it's positioned differently. It's not about replacing the human. It's framed as a partner. So you, the creator, you're still the director. You've got the vision. The AI just executes the tedious bits. And that core idea, it aims to lower the technical hurdles for folks who aren't expert editors, but also speed things up for everyone, really, from solo creators right up to big marketing teams. It's about empowerment, collaboration.
That's a really key distinction, partner, not replacement. Right. And that idea of collaboration, it leads right into my next question, really. What exactly is this Underlord? Is it just, another plugin you add on? Or is it something more fundamental to Descript itself?
Oh, it's much more than a plugin. Yeah. Underlord is deeply woven into Descript's whole system. It's designed to be an AI co-editor right there in your workspace. Think of it like a collaborative assistant that understands your plain language prompts and then generates, professional level edits. It has standalone AI actions, sure, like noise reduction, but also these quite robust template-driven workflows that can manage whole production pipelines.
Okay, so not a separate thing you bolt on, is really part of the core Descript experience. Given that deep integration then, how does that fundamentally change how people approach, say, those repetitive editing tasks? How does it speed things up? What's the real shift day to day?
Well, the core shift is moving from doing everything manually to directing the creative work, because the AI handles the mechanics, right? So creators can put their energy into the vision, the story. Instead of clicking and dragging for hours on end, you're basically telling a pretty sophisticated AI what you want. And that frees up so much mental space. Imagine focusing just on refining your message or developing new ideas, maybe engaging your audience. Instead of getting totally bogged down cutting filler words or tweaking colors, it really transforms the creative flow, puts the emphasis back on, well, human ingenuity.
That sounds like music to the ears of anyone who's spent hours staring at a timeline.
Definitely.
You mentioned plain English, prompt-driven editing. I think that's something a lot of listeners are curious about. How intuitive is it, really, in practice? And maybe, could you give us some examples that might genuinely surprise people with what Underlords can actually pull off?
It's actually remarkably intuitive because it's built around natural language, the way you'd normally talk to a human editor, basically. For instance, you could just type something simple, like remove all filler words and pauses, and bam, it cleans up the audio. But it gets way more powerful for, say, a complex task. You might prompt it. Turn this hour-long webinar into a 90-second product demo for social media. Focus on feature X. And the AI works to condense it. Highlight the right parts. Reframe the key info.
Wow, okay. That level of understanding context, that's genuinely impressive. So it's not just simple cuts. It gets the content, the purpose, maybe even the audience. But let me push on that a bit. When you ask it something like, make captions bold, use brand colors, format for TikTok, how much tweaking is usually needed after? Or can it really nail that complex instruction first time? That seems like a lot in one go.
It can often get surprisingly close on the first try, especially if you've already set up your brand assets inside Descript. And that's where the workflow automation really, really shines. In just one directive, Underlord can cut, style, caption, and format clips, adapting them for different platforms with your specific look. And beyond that, it's got these quite sophisticated AI audio enhancements, too. Automatically removes background noise, improves clarity, levels the volume for that professional sound. And on the video side, it can add relevant B-roll, adjust eye contact, which is interesting for more engagement, and crop for vertical or horizontal like shorts or reels. That flexibility is just crucial for creators needing to scale content everywhere without redoing everything by hand.
Right. So it's not just making one video, it's making many versions, optimized for many places from a single core idea almost instantly.
Yeah.
That's incredibly powerful. And our sources also mentioned templates. You talked about workflow automation. How do these secret recipes, as they call them, fit in with the prompting?
Yeah, think of templates as sort of pre-built blueprints or starting points. They're fine-tuned by Descript's own experts. They give you a structured recipe for common things like a social ad or an explainer video, maybe a product demo, or even a podcast highlight. So you pick a template, and Underlord already kind of knows the typical structure, the pacing, the styling. Then you layer your plain English prompts over that to customize it with your specific content, your brand. It massively reduces the guesswork. Helps ensure that professional polish right out of the gate, but still leaves room for personalization.
That sounds like it would really speed up just getting started on a project. Okay, and what about the actual writing or the speaking? Can it help with the script itself beyond just chopping out filler words?
Oh, absolutely. That's one of its incredibly powerful features, actually, sometimes overlooked. It's called script and story refinement. Underlords can intelligently rewrite rough transcripts, smooth out narration, even suggest different phrasing for clarity or, better engagement. This is super useful for podcasters maybe refining what they said or educators wanting to make lecture content really concise and impactful. It basically helps you sound your best, even if the first take wasn't quite perfect. It's like an intelligent copy editor for your spoken word.
Okay, so we've built up a pretty clear picture now of what Underlord is, what it can do. So what does this all actually mean for someone listening, for you, looking to create content maybe more efficiently, more effectively? Let's dig into the practical benefits, the strengths our analysis points out. First up, massive improvements in time efficiency. The sources suggest it cuts, like hours of manual editing into minutes. What does that really mean in a creator's typical day?
It can totally change the game in terms of output.
Yeah.
And beyond just saving time, accessibility is a huge strength. It seriously lowers the skill barrier, meaning people without formal editing training, they can now produce really professional-looking stuff. It's genuinely democratizing high-quality content creation. And for brands, or maybe creators putting out a lot of content, consistency is massive. Underlords can automatically slap on your brand, colors, fonts, specific formats across everything, making sure it all looks cohesive, on brand, every single time.
And for anyone churning out high volumes, maybe daily uploads, content for multiple platforms, scalability has got to be a game changer, right? Adapting one piece for several platforms without needing a massive team. Plus, the fact it works natively inside Descript, that integration point is huge too. No more frustrating app switching.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But while those strengths are super compelling, it's really important we give a balanced view here. Underlord is powerful, yeah, but it's not, magic. For example, context sensitivity is still a thing. Generic prompts, like just make this better, they tend to give weaker results. Precision really helps. It's a tool that responds best to clear directions. Also, when you get into creative nuance, well, the AI might misjudge the tone or the emphasis, maybe the pacing, if you don't give it specific guidance. The real emotional understanding, subtle artistic choices, that's still firmly with the human creator.
Right. So it's a powerful assistant, but it's not going to write your Oscar speech or direct a movie on its own just yet. Things like really complex animations, multi-layer effects, truly cinematic stuff that still needs a human expert. What's maybe the biggest trap someone might fall into?
Expecting too much from the AI in terms of that creative subtlety. I think the biggest trap is probably expecting it to be a mind reader for your artistic vision.
Yeah.
Underlord excels at executing instructions. It's not really designed to invent a style from scratch or interpret some deep emotional subtext on its own. It absolutely needs your input. So while it lowers the skill barrier for the editing part, there's still definitely a learning curve for the user. You have to learn how to craft effective prompts, specific prompts. It's almost like learning a new language for talking to your software. And finally, it's worth remembering, some features are still technically in beta, which just means they're experimental. You might get occasional errors or misfires as the tech evolves, which is doing incredibly fast. And this brings up a really important question. How do we as creators learn to speak its language effectively, to really unlock everything it can do?
That is an excellent point. It's not just using the tool, it's mastering the communication with the tool. So if you're listening and thinking of trying this out, what are those secret sauce best practices? How do you get the most from Underlords? First, our sources say, be specific. Don't just say, make it shorter. Instead, try something clear, like cut this down to 45 seconds, make the vibe upbeat, and focus on the time-saving points from the first 2 minutes. The more detail, the better the result.
Absolutely crucial. And another key practice, iterate. Don't expect perfection first time every time. Treat Underlord's outputs like really good first drafts. Then refine them, reprompt with clearer instructions, or jump in and make manual tweaks yourself. It's more of a dynamic conversation, a back and forth, not just a one-shot deal. Also, definitely use templates when they fit. Starting with one of those pre-built frameworks gives Underlords a solid structure to build on. Then you customize it for your brand.
Right, and this goes back to that core idea we started with. Combine human plus AI. Let Underlord handle the mechanical stuff, the repetitive edits that eat up time. But you, the human, keep that critical eye on the storytelling, the creative choices, making sure the message really connects emotionally. Oh, and don't forget to preload brand assets, your logos, fonts, colors, get them in there so every output automatically matches your visual style. Huge time saver for consistency.
Exactly. And by following those kinds of practices, Underlords becomes incredibly powerful across so many real-world situations. It really transforms workflows. For marketing teams, for instance, it's a powerhouse, repurposing long webinars into short clips, ads, social teasers, instantly adapted for different platforms. Podcasters, they can clean up transcripts super easily, auto-generate promo clips, get highlights out on social media way faster than before.
Yeah, I can totally see educators benefiting hugely too, converting, say, long lectures into short, digestible modules, perfect for microlearning or online courses. Imagine having accessible content for different learning styles almost instantly.
Definitely. And for general content creators, it just means scaling up. Daily uploads across platforms become feasible with less overhead. Maintaining quality without spending their entire day editing, even in tentacles. Businesses can rapidly produce things like explainers, product demos, client updates, ensuring their communication is clear, professional, timely, even without dedicated video teams. What's so fascinating here is how Underlords really democratizes this high-quality media production across such a wide range of applications. It makes advanced capabilities accessible to pretty much anyone.
Okay, so we've really mapped out where Underlord is today, what it can do for us right now. Powerful stuff, but what's next? What's on the horizon for this kind of adaptive AI editing? Our sources suggest we're heading towards tools that don't just follow instructions, but might actually anticipate what a creator wants or needs. What could that mean for your creative work down the road?
Well, the future hints at some really exciting developments, things that deepen that creator-AI partnership even more. We could see personalized editing profiles. Imagine the AI learning your specific style, your preferred cuts, transitions, maybe even your sense of comedic timing and applying them proactively. Or think about collaborative storyboarding, the AI suggesting narrative arcs or scene structures before you even start cutting. It moves beyond just executing tasks to actually helping you shape the story itself.
Wow, that really is next level assistance. It shifts the AI from just an editor to something more like a creative collaborator.
Precisely. And we also anticipate more advanced cross-platform publishing, automated optimization that goes beyond just format, maybe tailoring content for specific platform algorithms or audience patterns on Shorts, Reels, LinkedIn. And finally, deeper integrations. Think intelligent suggestions from stock libraries for B-roll, automatically pulling assets from branding suites, maybe even connecting to CRM systems to personalize content, all driven by AI. If this develops responsibly, and that's key, this kind of innovation could truly redefine how humans and AI co-create, making high-quality media production accessible at a scale we haven't seen before. It could transform the whole landscape of digital storytelling.
This has been a really, really illuminating deep dive. Descript Underlord, it definitely feels like a significant leap forward in AI-driven creativity. And positioned, crucially, not as some overlord taking over, but as a co-editor, empowering you to focus on the vision while gracefully handling a lot of that technical heavy lifting. The real power, though, as we've kind of hammered home, it emerges when users guide it precisely, when you actively treat it like a sophisticated partner. Sure, limitations exist, like with any new tech, but Underlord is already reshaping editing workflows for so many people, from solo creators to big teams. And it certainly points towards a future where AI co-editing becomes, well, the standard way of doing things in content creation, not the exception.
Which leaves us with a really interesting question for you, our listener, to think about. As these AI tools, like Underlords, get more sophisticated, more deeply woven into how we create, what new kinds of human creativity, what new forms of storytelling are going to be unlocked, especially when those technical barriers, the ones that used to hold people back, are virtually gone? It's definitely something to ponder as you think about your own approach, whether you're creating content or just consuming it in this rapidly changing world.